think this marks the longest in the beginning trial. Court will now reconvene. Has a witness, Mr. Ogla, Orly recovered? Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness. Perhaps you can hear a vision of events again? That's the thing, you see, she's quite fatigued. Looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient ground for refusing to fight or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Mr. Oakley take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession? Perhaps you rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser? Not. Name's Orly, and that's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Ogla, quick fingers Orly. Oh, Willie. I want to know something else. I'm not really a Russian. My last name sounds like Oh Willie. And there's something that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Witness, you both hear the truth about what you were up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. But I had a plan, see? I remind you that you're currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy sees of hired me to do what I do best. I was planted the bushy butler 7 days prior to the night began, as a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim. Not that I need my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles, but winning isn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. Plan was simple. Eggland, Willie, you see, set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket friend, then deal 5 aces during one of the games. When they were revealed, Smith would come out and search Mr. Wright. He would pull the card and plant it, and the trap would snap shut. You should use up the cards. If it was a cheater and losing on top, it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Indeed, getting caught red-handed on cheating would cast out on all his wins. As if the legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Oh, Willie, Orly. Oh, Willie. How droll, but it appears you made quite the mistake. A mistake? I agree, the trump was elegant, yet what happened was to that playing card. Hey, that's right. He's lucky, I agree from that. You have to be able to slip free of a trap laid by Ogre, Quick Fingers, or Willie. Oh, Willie. They just love that bit of wordplay, don't they? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind trick. Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. You two being bad, perhaps you could decide to court. Tell us about this trap and how it could be sprung. That night, I played with the cards like I was supposed to, and the Wright lost his hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched it, but when the card was gone, the trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me himself, it was no good cheating defendant. A surprising frank testimony that still leaves most to the trap. The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect, with that. What and cheater had to mess it up. Look who's talking. With the testimony for what it's worth. It's all yours, Mr. Justice. It's like her, who needs criminals? And, like, in a French like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Supposed to White last name, I'm supposed to. Five of Hearts. Gone without a trace. Poof, Zippo. Nook and cranny. He once had his cute little hat. The card was nowhere to be found. Is this correct? Never in my long, storied career has never quick figures or Willie being so quickly duped. Oh, really? What's happened to those 5 hearts? Don't look at me. Why don't you go as the cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? The 5 hearts seem missing in action. So you said something back my head. Wait, isn't that little odd? What, odd? You said you survived thoroughly and found nothing, which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Oh, well. Oh. Yes, Apollo's superpower. Something wrong with the justice? No, nothing, Kiana. What to do? Should I press a little harder? Miss Oli, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You. Me? Quick fingers, Oli? Hide something? The defendant will refrain from baseless accusations. Everyone calls for the defendant then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when we saw it hit him. With my own eyes, I saw him. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? I'm just interested, Miss O'Reilly. She would touch the back of her neck during some part of her testimony. Did you notice? Touching her neck, was it? Whoa, what is going on? This sensation is coming into focus. There, that twitch, it's all clear. It's like I could perceive a habit. Like I couldn't be before. Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you are aware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get into a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I didn't notice anything of the sort. When she says that part of her testimony, she's apparently recording something. Body of actually memory, and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. In memory? Let me clear what she's babbling about. This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe have some evidence of this memory to show us. Have discussing like talking about the moment of the crime. So what reminded of the moment of the crime? When you recall the key night, you start your neck. This happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason in this habit of yours. I believe the weapon present this neck of yours. That's about the moment of the crime. She touches her neck. You mentioned more the moment than this bottle, the murder weapon. But something else is unfair. If you were only the witness of the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What is she talking about now? It's as if the victim who was hit, not you. This is quite like an and not a quash wild conjecture. The witnesses have it. They're completely irrelevant. Justice. I admit, I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now's your only chance to break up. It's only pleasure to specify in the moment about this crime. The very moment. Yeah, I'm know nothing. You know you're not Russian. Don't justify, please, now. Bah, fine. Then Objection! Sorry, if you ever hear that the King Rookie said, it says that the police were attracted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed through the stairs, and made the phone call from the first floor of the Push-Up Roll Club. Ah! So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Eek. Miranda picked up a bottle and shrunk it at the night. It wasn't the defendant. Ooh, learning same with the story. Alright, just the same thing. Showdown time. You dirty cheat. Check his pockets, now. It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Look. Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle, Mr. White, and he hit me. You. Some massive cheating you turn out to be. Eek. When it came to, the victim was already dead, isn't that? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. Came out that I was in the League of Smith, I'd be subject for sure. Well, where does this leave us? Madness. This is madness. I'm dreaming. It must have been me who hit his bottle and imagining all of this. It appears our prosecution does resent. Frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think of this kind of event? Mr. Gavin, sir, I believe that, as the defendant in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Ollie a big, fat liar. What? We never in the book, right? The defendant, the victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Purportedly, the witness got into an argument with her client, Mrs. Smith, and the day after that argument was murder. What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone trying to frame me. What a tangled webs of weaves when you perhaps have to see. So tangled we cut ourselves in the process. Mr. White, such a hazy conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility that there was another person in the room at the time of the murder? Right, I'm sorry, it was signed before recess. A single card was stopped in the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who dropped the cards didn't know the two colors were being used. A fourth person. This is theory again. Your fourth person that doesn't exist. Indeed. That's why I declare to bring this case to court here. There's no escape, no chance for reception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? And we're in luck. The criminal identity was kindly provided by us. Right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I do, but Apollo doesn't. Sorry. When I said, for the person who dropped the cards when in one critical error, he or she wasn't considering the backs of the cards. Right. But how could just an obvious mistake occur? The cards we used for the last game were red. Yet, there's one person here in a court who thought the cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too. But why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? It's not me, I swear. Who is this fourth person? Or like this. If you really finish to say, who was it? I thought the card you blue. Christoph Gavin. As expected, your eyes and ears are sharp as your hair. I was right. Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person of the night. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the whole of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue and which are on the floor on the table. Well, but look, you can see the colors in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. See, that defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yes, it was only a game. A competition, or not? A competition? Yes, a test of which a silent crash of flashes, and only the cards with the backs rushing blue and flame for the final outcome. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me, I was just so sudden. Right. You're not seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph. You know, even if I take the joke this far. This is gone ridiculous beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defense accusing his own defense attorney of murder? I assure you, I'm quite sane. What possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? It's so winning that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, so Mr. Gavin and the victim never ever met. Well, what if they have? Huh? There's a possibility, after all. They may have met that night, before the game started. What are you suggesting? This is the truth mistake. See the same, but well, anything will do. Mr. White, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court. The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin, testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before the game of poker be related? I'm not too sure if I follow, Mr. Gavin. As mentioned before, the defense believes that Mr. Willie. I'm to assume you speak with Mr. Justice in this case? He's the defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. White's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. According to your opinion, you need to hear Mr. White's testimony. Yep. This was Mr. White's story. He was trained this so long. I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. White testify to the court. Yeah? You betray me, you teacher? I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about your loyalty. This is about the truth. Very well. The defense? Mr. White, take the stand, please. But I prefer murder. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat at the table and this photograph. Somebody said walking 5 minutes later after Christoph left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress, and the girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to Defense Attorney Gavin. Miss Gavin, you were at the Butcher's Book Club the night of the murder. I dined with him rather frequently, and he talked to the offender on the phone directly after the murder. Quite again, against my will, I had become involved in the murder. There might need being lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, right? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. While my officer was doing a favor to your defense, it appears I was wrong. Very well. The defense may question the witness. Justice, sir, he's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin is right. This can't end well. What can happen on my trial? We're gonna have dinner. Let's see. I gotta hear you intend to pay. Oh, I pay in full, Christoph. It was I who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. It's the truth that Mr. White was talking about. Justice, you know what to do. He's lying. Expose him now. Yes, sir. Everything. What's Mr. White trying to tell me with the testimony? Somewhere. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin. Yes, he dined with me at the Boston Book Club quite frequently. We were drinking an usual dinner at the usual spot, as usual. I always eat at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting. So, the plates on such a table were for dinner? Ooh, indeed, the manager of the Mayu with Christoph. And for 2 hours, and Christoph left. After that, 5 minutes. so the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time. That would have been a fateful encounter to be sure. Oh, Mr. White, what was it you said? Joseph Gavin and Shelley Smith may have met. I believe I did say that. Hence I was nervous about this meeting. And now here they just passed the hall. You make it a little weak to pretend to it. Oh, debate, that will all really happen. Come on, Mr. White. What are you hiding this time? Trap failed. Hit the waitress. But there's no trap. This is the same trap that Mr. Oakley mentioned. Elegant Willie. You see, he set up a trap of sorts. It was a twinkle in his red spot beforehand. Then deal 5 aces during the games. When the hands research, call for cheating, playing the cards, snap. Just up the cards, we'll do that. Just like that. The legend just to pieces. Yes, a harmless prank in a sense. It was by Cook of Fate that happened to discover. A crook? I put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card you planted. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was a 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen like this. But I disposed of the card. Before the game. Disposed? Where? With the empty bottle of Gatorade I've been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. Empty bottle of grape juice. The murder weapon? Disabled up and shoved in the colorizing to see. A bottle of Ritz. That sounds like a terrifying drama. According to the murder weapon, that's strange. The piece was something. Everybody take a look. Mr. White, the poker head of the courtroom No. 3 approves of this bottle of Ritz. Please revise your testimony with this information. The bottle is completely empty. So, Mr. White, if I may, yes, I was in the bottle and I don't see any card in here. No? What, Mr. White? Surely isn't. Are you able to save yourself? I can't tell you that I know what happened to the card, but I did put it in that bottle. However, the 5th person came out. Oh, and the 6th they could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. White is your client. My apologies, Your Honor. I won't have you just purging your business into looking into that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Is it sorry for looking us again? Did the card just disappear? Case. Picking into the cost combination. I'm afraid decipher's conductions call for decisive evidence. Oh. Push harder, Justice. Break him. He's just in the ring. Go for the KO. Proving that we're not on our client side anymore. Bottle. Here's my opponent saying immediately I'm used to each moment you see and know it's coming. Oh, so you look first. I like that. I know I've taken the book. They don't book on me. At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't. The ghost knocked out cold was uncontrollable. Wait, let's see if there's anything that the police. You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get signal around the hideout. Was anyone in the first floor at the time? Not so. It was the middle of the night, after all. So then, in the darkness of the restaurant, I called the cops. During the call, I returned to the hideout. Didn't see my two leave injured, waiting for the waitress alone. And when you returned, the victim was already dead. Yes. I admit, I was just a little shorter when you walked in. Hey, little. He was bleeding from his forehead after all. Guess I better show you if I walk down the scene like that. Cut. This is really nice. Yeah. Yeah, just a classic. You got it wrong. Speech. Fine. Okay, testing. Yes, it's on. Continuing with those forced to quit. Load game. Maybe this. Nice. So if I may, yes. Take a look at this photograph from the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Jesus, that could put an inconsistency. Put a little more oomph into it. Mr. White, can you explain this to the court? Ah, I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put the hat on his head. Eh? You put the hat on his damaged head? He wore it through the entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the crime scene, his head was in full view, shining bright, just like this photograph. And quickly sat up to the floor and put on his head. Well, why'd you do such a thing like that? What I can say is, I'm sorry, but that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So, Mr. O'Leary didn't see it? The victim's, his head? I think not, she was out cold. I believe I was the one who witnessed his head. Ah, here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Ahem, pardon. It just seems that our client is human to advise you through the case. Hey, he's still a client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Huh, Mr. Gavin? This was when his testimony is more like a travesty, which was with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came close to Tony's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Christoph. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. White, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't worry yourself, I haven't told a single lie here. Eh? When I noticed the trap, I put the cord in the bottle to dispose of it. When I put that on the victim's head, let's say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone. That night, recall when I spoke with the Attorney Gavin calling the police. Just in case, I recorded a conversation. Watch this. Now that I hear, I see no reason why I shouldn't put it back of the court. Christoph, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Watch this. Got game not going well? Something like that. The gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good. He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china plate? Wasn't you, was it? Me? Please, the cop should be here any minute. I'm in hands. Should have come to that. Bone china plate. Kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny, and not a plate, but pate. I believe he was referring to the certain gentleman's balding forehead. Court appreciates a defendant. J-Box is not indicating my forehead. Wait a second. Something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin a dinner with you, he left Boss's book club? Most certainly. Then, how did he know? When did you see this bow china plate? Oh, that's right. Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene, and when I spotted Mr. Smith's head, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage is reset. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come by your previous knowledge of the victim's head? So this is your reason. The reason you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, hasn't it, Phoenix, right? Order. I will have order. Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear a defense attorneys give them? As a prosecutor, Very well. We will have for 10 minutes, after which Mr. Gavin will take a stand for the cross-examination. Are we clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Though this will be the final recess for the day. April 20th, 2013. Yeah, District Court Defendant Lobby, No. 3. Mr. Gavin and Mr. White are both in the judge's chamber. Whoever thought they would turn out like this? May I? Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please, pick a card. What is this about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. An ace. Where did I number that card from? Miss hand was 3 aces, and Miss White was 2. It's 5 aces and all. It's true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. The missing 5th ace. Wait, this has a blotch of red. Is this blood? You have your trump card. Now it's time to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. This bloodshed card is my trump card for finding the truth. I do feel into as my mind. I feel deep in thought as my mind is understanding this what I meant. That goal. I've seen it recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. Of course, now we're going to convene. The defense of the Quiz of Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. Will Mr. The witness state his name and occupation? Is this farce necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone in this courtroom. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How do you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? I guess it means the fact that the business... Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is this by the... What I said, Your Honor seems to have an undocumented interest in it.
Objection!
I won't call it indoctrinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. White! What do you think you're doing, White? Wow, this thing sort of looks different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider this for a second. The victim's hat one night never shook him except for that one time. That one time being the instant when he was hit. Oh, when Mr. White returned from reporting the crime, the hat was laying on the floor. Mr. White picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you don't have to have been there in the hideout at the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer. This is what you're trying to say. Not bad, Apollo. Mr. Gavin, I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did all to protect my client, Mr. White. Yet, I'm afraid that in the current situation, I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Finally, you may begin with your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the event of that fateful night? That fateful night. The range I sensed in that man had trouble with me, so I turned to the club. We went down the basement and I peeked through the little window in the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead and as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious skull, and White, holding in a bottle in his hand. I sensed that there was not the best place for me to beat him, so I left. That's when the call came from White. So, you witnessed the murder? For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. White's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness's stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. And you tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. And, Mr. White, you had to say that. Just because it was only possible in the opportunity, right, Mr. Paulo? Right, the defense should the question, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I'm going up, Mr. Gavin. This one is getting weirder and weirder. That fateful night. The range I sensed in that man that troubled me, so I turned to the club. I went down the basement and peeked through the little window into the hideout. Must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead as he was on the photo. Bald head and unconscious skull and White next to him holding a bottle in his hands. Since that there's not the best place for me to be at that time, so I left. Let's see. I'll probably just press everything. Emmanuel Smith, who's different from the other customers, his aura, shall we say. I know he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that. So then you knew the true nature of your client's job? Of course, I also know he was engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that you know, they were friends after all. Waiting for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feel this Mr. Smith might be coming to some score. I see what happened then. The little window. You mean the one you used to keep a watch upstairs? Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The black market years, I believe. Why'd you go through the trouble of peeking through that window? Wouldn't it be easier to just open up the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset White, you see. Upset Mr. White? Yes, one of my friend's fears has been unfounded. I'll be walking to the match. Bad form, to say the least. Must have been White after the murder took place. Really, no need to shout, Mr. Justice. Look, we're just getting to that part of my testimony. Ah, there it is. The coolest defense in the West I know of. He was hanging on the witness stand. Something never changed. I was afraid you changed too, so I told you haven't. You and the overbearing personality of yours. With friends like these, who needs enemies? The victim was dead as he appears in the photo. By photo, you mean the second photograph in the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. White came along and placed his hat. Bald head and conscious skull and White, holding a bottle in his hands. Those were the only few of the crime scene? Yes, as far as I saw, at least. In the back where we started, the killer was the defendant, Phoenix White. Who else could have been? But why didn't you talk to the police? Two reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was actually defend White. Even after seeing what I've seen, I couldn't abandon my friend. There's been someone else at the moment of the crime. Justice, as I said, no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. White said. Ah yes, it's a mysterious fourth person. Who could have conveniently been the real killer, I suppose? Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. I'm gonna move for the question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the card to the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? Remember, Apollo, the card was swapped out with the fifth ace. The fifth ace, right. Well, Mr. Justice. Question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? To present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why the card was swapped out. Then go ahead and point to the reason, Mr. Justice. Take the fifth ace. My reason is, this. This is an ace? Why? It's got blood on it! Right next to the spade! What? This is insane! Why isn't it? I remember this. Why? Could this be the missing fifth ace? Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card? Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Kevin so upset? This is a fishy card from some physical. Oh, that card? That's mine. That is, I picked up the basketball that night of the murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are stock and trade after all. No, impossible. Unacceptable. That court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can we be so sure? What? I would like to think the only person who could have claimed this was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. Whether this is a trace of blood was there for a reason. The reason for the killer to take the card from the crime scene. We're going with this. Taking a look at the photo and into the victim's head. The room in the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. Could a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. Then the killer took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime is you can conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the final point of our legal system later. What's important now is I have answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene, and now I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see. This is basic energy, baseless. Oh, I assure you it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on our card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes. Try picturing the scene of the crime. Yeah. Ooh. Pseudo 3D. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim first found at Brookwood, and before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood. Given this, there was one decisive problem with this scene. Well, what is it? Let's get simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on the card, whose position in this diagram wouldn't fit? The victims or the killers? The witnesses? The second witnesses? Whose position did fit the bloody card? Ooh. Let's say this. I'm not that sure. The second witness position is a problem. The second witness, that would be Mr. Gavin, yes? The second witness position is far less problem than yours right now, Justice. Or perhaps, police is a better word. Cannot do with the blood chain, cannot do with the second witness location. Okay. Well, I think the killer's in the wrong place. I think. You think? Resistance. Your job here is not a thing what to know. Just looking at you reminds me of the old days. Not the good old days, per se. Okay. Is the victim prison that's the problem? Don't follow your license, Justice. Well, look, the victim was stuck on the head, sending him back to his chair. Don't you think his blood would have fallen behind the body? Oh yeah. Yeah, I did think of that. Huh. Makes sense, yeah. Take a look at this photo again. If your blood at that position, the blood would have fallen on the floor, not the carriage. Why, that's right. So, what does this mean? Additionally, we're sitting on those swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. The chair was facing the other way? It would have to be. So if we assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. Ms. Wright returned from informing the police, which was already chair facing. When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in the photo, which would mean that the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next steps. Look at the diagram once more. Know that the victim was facing away from the table of the murder, but this creates another significant contradiction. Again, let's test your reasoning again, shall we? Apollo, whose case on this diagram conducts a new understanding of the crime? The victim's killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses. Victim struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where he is in a kid sitting? I think that quite hard, yes. Yes, but what are you saying guys? Makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of the game? I believe significance will soon come to light. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Looking in the diagram, Apollo, if the victim was struck where he was sitting so here, where would his assailant be standing? But where the killer should be? Don't worry, there's nothing to do and see what we find. We know the victim was facing towards all the time of the crime scene. I just think we should know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Who would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front? Right there. Got to be standing, well, here! You point gets flared, but that's all you get. Ugh. I thought it was on something there, too. Hardly need to point out that the thing would have to be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. You claim that the killer climbed in the cupboard to hit from above. Ha! It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there. Watch this now! I mean, that's the only possible explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I've suggested for the defense. We should arrange the examination of the cupboard to the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Your Honor. What? There's one more thing you meant to look out for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do bring the courtroom after all, Mr. White. I do my best. Let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at this diagram once again. It's been changed. Close anything that in the crime scene. This cupboard wasn't here, which means Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, has been shoved here. Everything is in place to recreate the moment of the crime. Oh my, what's this? What's what now? Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we've found yet another contradiction. I believe it to be the final contradiction, in fact. Oh dang. Something... Know something, Apollo? Our line of objection is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point out who no conscience facing the killer. Is the victim, is the killer, is the witness, the second witness? Oh, I believe I have a hard time seeing when it's blocked. About this cupboard. Are we okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard should have completely covered up the window to the stairs. Ah! That's right. Someone standing outside shouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. But what did you say? Oh, is that the coolest defense in the West, losing his cool? Look, don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game though someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was. Well, the window was in that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain this court. Exactly. Where did you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order! This is a court of law and I will have order. We just received word from an investigating team at Bristol Pool Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh? And what did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there's a secret passage behind it. What? Oh yes, I believe I mentioned something of this sort before. This is one of the tricks of the room that our many regulars know about. I do know by him that no one already mentions it. A secret passage is a handy when you haven't engaged in legal actions going on, even when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. The room has a secret passage. Where does it go? The second next to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could use it to get around the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of vodka, no doubt, just like our killer. We see what line of some deduction reasoning has led us, Apollo. I see, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked up and the victim sat. Was off his head for a few minutes between Mrs. Murder and Mr. White's return from the corner of the corpse. In other words, only place that anyone seen the victim's broad head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? Come on, say something. Dare we ask really what happened that night? Actually, I think we can probably figure out for ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, Killer had a date with Mr. Smith, a date with Destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the cigarette behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. Eek! Why did you do that? Wait here. I'll get help. So good, it was out cold, chuckled Mr. Smith. This time will soon come. Mr. White went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then I could have stepped out from the secret passageway in the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard slung aside. He raised his shield down to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized that he needed to destroy the evidence. The single spot of blood told the whole story about the crime. Who actually didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he did, he might have had noticed the cards on the floor, and the fact that they were all red. Ugh. Well, it seems that this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne? York! Yes, Your Honor. Prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin, but I'm afraid that circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately. Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoy myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked. That person of your caliber would be taken by such a low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me? The offense is clear of all suspicion. This is hardly time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. White hasn't proven anyone's innocence here. To use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else, and not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. Illegal evidence. Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there any reason a person to suspect me of any wrongdoing? Of course. The bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. White was drinking? How did you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? Not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne? Actually, yes. The fingers on the bottle were, upside down. Recall this being an issue earlier. On this case demanded explanation. I can think of only one reason to hold the bottle upside down, and that is to hit someone with the head of the bottle. Will, Your Honor? See how the catfish squirms to the last. Will, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems to awfully concerned about this bottle still. I'm sure you can come up with a simple explanation. Just like that. Yeah. Just like what? I'm gonna grab a bottle upside down, other than two. Don't I'm tricking. That is the explanation. His explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there any really other? Take another look at the court case record. I believe you'll find a simple answer rate in plain sight. We just answered the in plain words. A little bit of that answer question. Mr. Gavin said that the court. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. When he would carry tonight to the court, what evidence do you have? It's upside down. Okay, I can't think of any. Oh, yep. That's easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place the bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me, on the floor? Yes, now reach down and pick it up. Without getting off your chair. See? You're actually going to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the murder. The defendant, Mr. White, sat here, playing piano. Bottles of grape was on the floor to the piano. He had naturally picked up by the bottles upside neck several times. Well, I can't believe it was that simple. We called dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then too. Basically, use that bottle on the table to do the deed. But then you must have remembered. So you went up and picked it up by the bottles on the piano, and you switched the bottles. Then you took one of Mr. White's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. Order! 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 What do you have to say about these charges, Mr. Gavin? Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactics of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched bottles? Where's your proof? Proof! Well, that, as I thought, more basic conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. Don't be disturbed by that, because of the card. Your Honor, when you entered earlier, do you recall what I requested and did the additional investigation? Oh yes, I have your memory right here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Boathouse Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question. What are you going to do? What? We're supposed to find anyone but his. And then probably wouldn't make such an obvious mistake. It's true. That bottle won't be a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why are you going to examine this bottle? But why? Just humor me, Mr. White. That bottle will solve this case once for all. What? There's some bottle. Yep. Let's look at it. There's something inside the bottle. What's this? That's a card. That can't be. You call him person. Mr. O'Reilly? Yes, she was a little swiveling devil's. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to, and the White lost a hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planet card was gone. The trap had failed. What? Wait, this isn't. You're telling me that this is the planet card you disposed of when you mentioned in the police's testimony? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yikes! I snuck a peek and it was found. 5 of hearts. I think something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There's an empty bottle of Grey Blues I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. The 5 of hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped. The only one who could have done that was the 4th president of the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. That is all. Is this really a revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away Phoenix, that took Tony's badge 7 years ago? My past is like logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm gonna go have this little Tete. Shane, what is this saying? What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone? Everyone's shaking their heads no. This time we finally come up with the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin? He did everything. We are processing his arrest now. Ah, I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. Didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he? Not that we know of. Mr. White, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any light on the matter. But it's with Shirley Smith. Another question for sure, but that's all we know about him. I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor. Good. Mr. White? Yes? 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I need two things before I could confront him. First was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. Second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? This is a dark time for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought by its own initial trial system. You have to set it right. Mr. White? Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce your verdict. Let's go to find the defendant, Mr. Phoenix White. Not guilty. Court is now adjourned. Thanks, Apollo. You came through just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was all you who couldn't grab the killer. Couldn't have done it by myself. You sent a shoot today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You will come to understand enough, though. Wait, I wonder if he means... What should I witness then? You say that you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is that true? Of course it is true. So what is this weird vibe I'm getting? Wait, what is that, Mr. White? You have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer, right? A question without an answer. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could I have to commit a murder? Perhaps you'll learn in these days to come. Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket, the key. Huh? Oh yeah, that reminds me. I better go with pictures in your locket. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Of the next he died, but it looks like our dear Russians came out and saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury. You testified. You said that locket was yours. I said no such thing, actually, huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. That's not a distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then, why? Why are you looking at my locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes to straighten this path, the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You should risk getting started with your career. Speaking of which, if I may have a job, I work for Gavin Law Officer after all. Secondly, I just saw Mr. Gavin got literary handcuffs. Apollo, yes? How about coming to work with me? For me? What? You mean at the White and Co. law offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know about it. No, it can't imagine that to be true, but wait. You're not a... Oh, I turned my bed, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. And 7 years ago, that legendary trial. And the middle of it all was one man, Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have resisted. A naughty magician's trick. This evidence stuck me. Oh, that's for sure. This had seemed, well, too perfect. I bet this was forged evidence. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your, daughter, Mr. White. Yes, that card shouldn't have been at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left? Leaving the wrong card in its place. Luckily for us. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can we be so sure? I would think the person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took it, the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. A verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then, you really, yes, I forged this card. Look at the crime scene, so I've told you it wasn't real. But, we can't do that. Something like that and calls over an attorney? Who's calling themselves an attorney? Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? I punched him. It's just right from here, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office address, drop in it if you would like. Mr. White. Oh, and bet you uppercut. Try yelling. Take that next time. I find that packs a little more of a punch. And Apollo, thank you for the day. I had a good time. And then Mr. White walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries have been unsolved, and at the time I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. But I find that out myself. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law, and this is how my story begins. Whew.